County. Hear from her family.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. Family of a Southern Kentucky woman last seen a week ago say they just want to know if she's okay. According to the Laurel County Sheriff's Office, Chastity White was last seen on March 3rd. Friends and family say she goes by Bo. She's a former special education teacher. Tonight, Garrett Weimer talked to her ex-husband and 2 kids who say they're worried and want answers.
For Bo White's 2 kids, it's not been easy adjusting in a little over a week since their mother was last seen.
I want her back. I just want her to come home and so we can see her again, because I don't want to go any longer without her.
Needless to say, her loved ones are worried. They say they don't know if something has happened to her or if she's okay. They say they just need to know she's safe.
Not having any idea whatsoever where she's at or what's happened, or the biggest thing is the unknown. We have no answers.
Deputies say White was last seen a little more than a week ago on March 3rd. Family members say they last heard from her just a few days ago, on Thursday, when she emailed them. But since then, nothing. They say that's not at all like her, just another reason they're so concerned. Right now they have no answers, but they say they need them.
I would really just want her to come back and stuff like that.
2 kids desperate for their mother, trying so hard to stay strong.
Because I love her and I miss her.
Missing the one thing that could make it better, a mother's hug. In Laurel County, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
Investigators say White may be driving a red Ford Focus with Kentucky tag 012XLD. And today, Governor Bevin signed into law a bill that allows carrying of concealed firearms without a permit. Those over the age of 21 who are legally allowed to own a gun will no longer need training or a testing to conceal their weapon. Kentucky already allows open carry. Those wanting to conceal out of state will still need a permit. The law goes into effect on July 1st. The grand jury indicted a man in connection with a deadly Floyd County hit and run in May of last year. Police say Kyle Collins hit Larry Hinkle and did nothing to help him. A grand jury upgraded the charges to include reckless homicide and tampering with physical evidence. Kyle could face up to 15 years in jail if convicted. Officials say Christy and Bradley Hamilton helped him destroy evidence. Larry's son Jody and daughter-in-law Ashley say 15 years is not enough, but it's better than the previous charges.
But it holds everybody accountable for what they done.
Exactly.
For thinking you can get away with it and hide evidence.
Now, both Christy and Bradley face charges of tampering with physical evidence. Kyle's next court date is May 2nd at 9 a.m. Christy and Bradley Hamilton will be back in court on June 6th, also at 9 a.m. And we now know more about the woman found dead in Mammoth Cave National Park today. The body of 23-year-old Mariah DeCrew of Park City, Kentucky, was found in the Zion Hill Cemetery. The FBI says they are still working with the National Park Service to determine the cause of death. And we have an update on a mudslide in Harlan County. We've been following along on Kentucky 72. This is video from last month at the site of the slide. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's 11th District posted that they expect all material to be removed by the end of this week. They say that does though depend on weather not cooperating with them. They say they have an around-the-clock presence at the site.
Well, the cloud cover was the big story for today. Many of us not clearing out until this evening. And now, as those temperatures drop near the dew point, we will look at some patchy fog once again for tonight. Let's take a look at some of the cameras. And in fact, we could take you to Whitesburg, where it is quiet, it is partly cloudy, and it is calm across the southeastern and really eastern Kentucky at this point. Notice a few fair weather clouds. Temperatures right at 45 in Jackson, 49 in Harlan, and those lower 40s as you work your way to the north along Interstate 64. Winds right now circulating around that high pressure, and when they do, they work like a clock. So we are actually seeing winds from the north, but as that high pressure works to the east, we'll start to see those winds shift. It will take a couple of days before we get that southwesterly flow in. Of course, coming up, we're going to be talking about how the sunshine will continue, how those warmer temperatures are going to be so warm it could be the warmest air we've seen this year, and even a rain and storm chance. Connor, all that's coming up here in a few short minutes.
All right, thanks, Andrew. And as water recedes on Kentucky 257 in the confluence area of Leslie County, many people are now able to leave their homes. Some were trapped for 2 full weeks, but now crews are dealing with what was underneath that water. Today, they're clearing mud and debris like trash and branches off the road.
The cleanup that they're doing right now with cleaning the mud off the road and brushing it, making it so much easier for folks to get home that can get home.
Down the road from the cleanup efforts, not everyone is so lucky. Magistrate John Newell tells us at least 8 families are still trapped due to the flooding, and parts of Kentucky 257 remain closed. Workers say there's still a lot of cleaning up left to do in the area. And the Louisville Zoo will be closed tomorrow thanks to a football-sized sinkhole on the property. The hole opened in an undeveloped part of the zoo last week. No property, though, was damaged. Officials believe limestone under the zoo may be the cause. And a man in western Kentucky is in critical condition after police say he was stabbed in the head during an altercation at Walmart. Police got a report Sunday for 2 Hispanic males fighting. The fight began inside the store and went into the parking lot. Once on the scene, crews found one of the men had been stabbed in the head. The other person left the scene. The victim was transported to the hospital and the police are investigating. And Governor Matt Bevin posted a video on Facebook Monday following several teacher sick-out protests last week. In his post, he asks if anyone is, quote, sick of sick-outs and claims they have serious ramifications for students, families, educators, and businesses.
And doing this at the expense of the very students that public education is intended to serve. This is about the students, and it should be about the students, not about what's in the best interest of the KEA or any of these other groups that want to attract attention and resources and power to themselves.
You can find the entire video over on our website, WYMT.com. And the battle amongst members of the Breathitt County Fiscal Court moved into the circuit courtroom today. Judge Executive Jeff Noble asked a judge to intervene in the impasse between him and 3 magistrates over his appointment of a county road supervisor at the yearly pay of $55,000. Now, a ruling was not handed down today, but both sides say they heard the judge's feelings loud and clear.
This judge cried out in a way that so many people in this community have cried out for so long, and that was for compromise.
And the judge ordered these people to have coffee together, which is the right decision. They need to work this out themselves and not clog up the circuit court with a political dispute.
The judge did not issue a ruling right away, but said he was going to consider having them get coffee and possible rule at a later date. And Knott County will continue to operate how it has been under a partial government shutdown. Today at a fiscal court meeting, officials worked to try and find ways to balance the budget. In doing that, they also had to pass a new tax. I went to the meeting. Let me break down exactly what that means for the area. The initial partial government shutdown happened in late January.
We made every cut that we could possibly make to make ends meet.
Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says currently the county is looking at roughly $12 million in bond payments and debt. It's been a buildup for decades. He says more than a third of it was in the last 2 years alone.
A lot of outstanding debt came in that we had to pay, and a lot of long-term debt that we've acquired.
So Monday, the fiscal court met to have a second reading of taxes to balance the budget. On the agenda, a 2% occupational tax and a 4% insurance license fee. The occupational tax did not pass.
Well, I feel confident that we can make this work.
Dobson says he's been against this from the beginning, but if it wasn't this.
Property taxes were going to increase 16 to 18% in order to cover the Sportsplex bond payment. And I felt that would have been a lot more of a burden on the people than this was.
He believes it would have been much worse come later in the year. Now, no new money will come from this until October 3rd. In the meantime, the county will continue to operate the way it has in a state of partial government shutdown. Well, coming up at 11, The U.S. is ordering Boeing to ground planes after this weekend's crash. We'll have the details.
And the rain chances return as we head into the end of the week. We look at the week coming up.
And with great deals on all these Toyotas, you can make plans to go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Hello?
Get a low-mileage lease on a stylish new 2019 Corolla for $199 a month, the dynamic new Camry for $219 a month, or get $22.50 cash back on a thrilling new Avalon.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
If you come to Arby's from 2 to 5 p.m., you can get sliders for $1. For another $1, you can get a drink or a shake. And for the low, low price of another $1, you can round out this afternoon snack with warm cookies. It's really a meal at this point, but call it a snack. That way you can come back for dinner.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
You may never need an attorney, but if you do, you should be prepared. Tune in to Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson, Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock on WYMT.
When innovative cancer care is close by, it means family can be too. Because at Baptist Health, you have access to the latest cancer trials and treatments and your own dedicated team of caring cancer specialists.